Impact Latin America mobilizes resources to equip Latin American leaders to multiply disciples, leaders, and churches to participate in God's transformation of people and communities. Surprisingly, the coronavirus pandemic created a perfect environment to demonstrate how we are multiplying disciples, leaders, and churches in Latin America. In March of 2020, quarantine orders were enforced throughout much of Latin America. This kept people at home and away from large group meetings such as church services. Thanks to the training and preparation received from the community church planting movement, people began sharing God's transformation in their lives and began opening more house churches. These house churches met in small groups of less than 10 or in online groups, multiplying not only the number of house churches, but also multiplying the number of leaders. In fact, in the third quarter of 2020, more than 60 new house churches opened and over 570 people began a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. 34 of these new believers are in Concepcion, Chile. And as the quarantine restrictions began to be lifted, these new believers began to proclaim their faith through baptism. For example, these 5 were recently baptized in Encarnacion, Paraguay. In Colombia, Pastor Omar and Lisette's ministry among Venezuelan immigrants resulted in 8 new baptisms the first Sunday that small groups could meet together. And this past weekend, 19 people were baptized in an outdoor baptism and communion service in Maturin, Venezuela. In Peru, Vanessa is a medical doctor who received community church planting training online during quarantine through the church that Pastor David Lopez planted. She put what she learned into practice and started sharing Christ with her next-door neighbor, Chris. Chris invited her friends and her husband, who is quarantined in another country, to join an online group so that they could also hear the good news. Just a couple of weeks ago, Vanessa had the privilege of baptizing Chris in a virtual service led by Pastor David Lopez. This is a prime example of what it means to multiply disciples, leaders, and churches. In total, we've received word of 73 baptisms taking place in 8 countries during the past 3 months. To God be the glory, great things He is doing to multiply disciples, leaders, and churches in Latin America.